Jog Vlog.
Hey guys, Legendary Badass here, aka Bonfire, or whatever you want to call me. So, I thought I would, because of the success of my Symmetra tutorial, give you guys a Torbjorn tutorial. This is turret placements on all maps, excluding the King of the Hill style ones. And what do I know about Torb? Well, you see this right here? Yeah, that's for completing Uprising event on Legendary with Torb. Now I want to tell you the 3 principles of quality turrets. First, we have coverage. I think you can figure out what that means. Second, accessibility. Is it high? Is it hard to get to? And finally, nuisance. How much of a pain is it to take out?
Welcome to Junkertown.
Let's look at Junkertown first. The new map just released today. Yes, I'm an Xbox player, and I've already taken some time to explore it, and I know you're probably here just for the Junkertown stuff. So, we're looking at the enemy spawn right now, and you're thinking, okay, you want to get some quick ult charge. This is a very large Halo-esque map, very, very open. That could give you good coverage. Why not place this turret out in the corner here, driving everyone far away from the payload to have to mess with that? They're not even going to see it. Come on. Additionally, if you want to go for the spawn kills, this little area next to this tire actually works out pretty decent because you can sit behind this little panel and hammer away at your turret, repairing it and keeping it afloat. So that's a nice little thing if you are into that kind of stuff. Ah shit, this is gonna be a long video, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, so they've made it down the street a little bit because your team let you down. What do? Well, in this case, this is really... I mean, there's so many places you can put a turret. It's like, how can you choose? I actually have more turrets going up on this video for this particular map than any other map. I like this spot behind the box because it pulls everybody away from the objective and shoots them in the back. And shooting people in the back is a big thing with turrets. This spot, obvious, but it's high enough up that the accessibility for enemies to hit it is fairly low. But still, I don't really like placing the turrets directly in front of the enemies as they're coming down a road because they're going to see the turret. And I find that a big part of winning with your turret placement is them not seeing it, honestly. Now say they got through that door. You can just turn around and place that turret on the opposite side here. Shoot inside towards the doorway, and hopefully they won't see this immediately. Yeah, they're gonna go through there and then they'll have to crank their neck up and look at that. You can also go ahead and just put the same position on the opposite side. The problem with this is that it's more directly in their line of sight. And turrets that people are looking at because they're in front of them get shot. So, it's kind of questionable. But really, Junkertown should be called Torb Main Heaven because there's just so many possibilities. It's such a big place. So many things to stand on. Now look, you're getting to the end of Area 2. And why not right here? Come on, you got some good cover here. You can build your turret, replace it, repair it, what have you. Pretty simple stuff. Now say that they actually got to the 3rd area. What do? Well, for starters, I mean, what can't you do here? This place is pretty savage, isn't it? Go ahead and climb up these stairs. Maybe you can place something right at this door. Give your team a little bit of time. And then you have an OP spot you can make use of. This rotating blade. Yeah, your turret has auto fire. The enemy team can't track this that well. It covers the entire area. I mean, hell, you may as well just stay up here and keep placing turrets. That really could work out for you. The only real problem is it's going to be tougher for you to aim with your rods. And then I'm also just going to give you a better look at this area here, because if you do choose to fight from above like that, you know, just keep in mind that you're reaching almost every spot with your turret, but not necessarily at the same time. So when it comes down to the end, you might actually want to relocate, because once your turret gets too far away, it's not really providing cover. Now, you're staring down the end area, and you're thinking, okay, what do? You look for nuisance here. This shadowy spot, you can get some backline fire going. Now, yeah, it's pretty close to them scoring, but at least this way you don't have to constantly look over a turret when you're critically contesting the objective. And for bonus, I'm actually going to tell you attack Torb here. This is the only time I'm really going to bring it up because it's a new map, but this payload is funky. You can put something on the end of it. Just on the back of the payload right here where this gold stacked up. It's just oddly protective of your turret, and you're just able to shoot things that are up and trying to flank you, and it actually works out pretty well. Okay, moving on to another escort, we're looking at Watch Point Gibraltar. Now, this one, you know, this is a no-frills first setup right here. We're just looking at a basic sort of map. There are points where you can get up high, but not necessarily with Torbjorn. What do you do for your first area? Well, you can maybe just put your turret over here, possibly get some Reinhardt shielding, and maybe build up some old charge that way. Otherwise, I feel like the first turret's going to go down pretty quick, because this area is quite a bit more narrow and focused. Now, if we look around a little more, and your opponents have actually gotten the payload past what used to be the first checkpoint, down in the middle, that little dip, you want to get some of that nuisance going, right? You want to shoot them in the back. That will divert their attention and work out well for you. You can also jump over this way, say if they're about to take that first checkpoint. Well, what is currently the first checkpoint. And, okay, how much do I mess this up? Come on. There we go. Yeah, you get a little turret up here. Not easy to take out. They're not necessarily looking up at that direction. You know, it might even stop a high noon going from the other direction, honestly. Because you see that move quite a bit out of McCree's. So they got the first checkpoint, and you're in the middle area. And you don't want to switch off Torb. What do? The spot right here, shoot them in the back when they're in this critical juncture where they're actually trying to score. They're looking ahead, and you have height and diversion going for you right there. You know, that's not a bad idea, really. You might even consider a high point near the beginning of that area, because everybody's got to come in, and you can actually shoot their healers like in the back as they're walking in. They're always going to have to go in, and they're almost always going to go through the door immediately below this or across. Looking in the last area of Gibraltar, we have a few decent turret locations because of the height afforded in this area. So let's go up this way and get ready to create that crossfire. They're engaging your teammates, and your turret is shooting them from above and hopefully in the back. And your last ditch effort, absolutely last ditch here. They're about to score the payload. You've just come out of the spawn. Go ahead and take the left spawn. It's going to be less congested, and build a turret over here that box is going to provide a little bit of cover, and you're just going to be focusing on stopping that final effort. Ah, yes, another escort map. This is Route 66. This map is not one I would advise Symmetra work on, and possibly it's bad for Torbjorn too, because there's not a lot here. Okay, like you can go for some easy stuff at the start. You know, you have this shooting them in the back. If your teammates are engaging and pressing early, this turret will stay up longer. If they are behind that area I was shooting at, then that turret's going down lickety-split. Up here, you used to be able to contest from about where I'm standing when the payload approaches. They've patched that because, well, yeah, Microsoft actually thought I was hacking because I was able to contest from up here. But you know what? Provide some cover fire for you to build up this turret, replace it, repair it, what have you. It might be enough to save the checkpoint. Now, suppose your teammates really let you down and the enemy has actually gotten the first checkpoint. Now you're in the second area. What do? You have some buildings you can stand atop, but this isn't a very large area. It's not really congested with the right type of stuff to cause a big distraction. I kind of like this spot over here because, again, you got decent coverage. You're shooting the back line. You got crossfire generation. It's up high, and you can repair. So, you know, why not? But once again, your teammates have really dropped the ball, and now you find yourself defending in the last area. These platforms move. They provide respectable coverage. It's not the biggest path. It's not as big as Volskaya's. So the benefit of this is that they get around to where it's critical to defend quicker. And it's a moving target. Again, you basically have aimbot. It's working out for you as far as that goes. You can also kind of stow away in this nook area. And I kind of consider this your last line of defense. Yeah, it's a little out of the way, but everybody's going to be focused on getting that last push going in, and you're going to shoot them in the back. It's beautiful.
Traveling to Dorado.
Oh yes, another escort, Dorado. Oh boy, I'm not really crazy about turrets in this one, because once you really figure out that there's some narrow areas, things are a little too predictable as far as turret placement. You have across from here also, very similar spot, but I kind of like the idea of catching these guys as they round the corner, and if they go out their left spawn, you might be able to hit them atop the head as they make their way up that stairs right there. I don't expect this turret to stay up very long unless it has Reinhardt shielding. Now suppose they got to the choke. Rather than shoot directly on the choke, go up above and place a turret so that it is on this arch shooting at their back where they're less likely to expect it. Again, you generate the crossfire. They're engaging your teammates. You're shooting them in the back with a turret. That keeps your turret up longer. Now you are defending the second area. What do? Well, I suppose you can go for some little cheese at the start here. This is decent because it's just so high up, it's hard for a lot of characters to really shoot this. They're going to need hit scan, and they're not necessarily going to be expecting it. And look at this long stretch right here where you can get some good fire on the back. Staying atop, let's consider this spot over here. Though it is in front of them as they're escorting the payload, you can actually get some shots on them because it's hard to reach, and you can also just switch focus, build your turret over here, and hopefully pick them off while they're trying to round the corner. Go ahead and give this a try. I think you'll like it. Now, again, your teammates, they suck. They're noobs. They've given up the area. You're in the last area of Dorado. What do? Well, you stay Torb because you're a Torb main, right? Again, you want high ground, the accessibility. People can't access it, right? They're going to have to make their way up some stairs. That should be able to pick a few off as they try to round the corner. And now you're really in your last-ditch effort. What do? Well, they're focusing on rounding that corner. They're looking to the left. They might be looking at the spawn. They're not looking behind them. Place your turret over here. Build it up. Defend it. Use that health kit on the left. And, you know, try to draw some attention away from the spawn so your teammates can get out and help. Now we're looking at a hybrid assault escort, Nubani. Yeah, I feel like people don't actually like this place, but it has some of the best Torbjorn turrets. My win rate here is probably the highest with Torb of all locations in the game, and I'm fixing to show you why. So you have some basic stuff right here. A lot of people load up and try to stop what I call the stairs. I call this like right, stairs, street, tunnel. That would be stairs. For some reason, people keep trying the stairs, even though Junkrat can just screw that up for everybody, or there's going to be a Bastion. But why not get in on it with Torb? There'll likely be a Reinhardt or Orisa shielding for that turret over there. Also, you got some height you can utilize here. Granted, they're going to see this pretty easily because it's in the path that they're looking at to get the payload, or rather the objective to then get the payload off the ground. But here is probably my favorite turret spot in the game, and has been for a long time. You wedge a turret over here, and granted, it doesn't have maximum coverage for the whole payload area, but this just straight lights people up. They're coming in above, they're going tunnel, they're going anywhere. They're not looking over here. You're going to get a ton of kills. Now your team messed up, right? They somehow, with your amazing Torb skills, you've lost the first area. You're moving to the second area, and what do? Well, you're going to probably give up a lot of land. It's very difficult to keep up with a moving payload, so a lot of people are going to request you to switch, but this is stashed far enough away from the road that I think you can actually get the right kind of crossfire going with that turret. Now here's a spot that, suppose you lost the second area, you want the high ground, but you're kind of thinking, you know, we want to contest early in this spot, right? Don't necessarily go shooting directly at the enemy. Go on this side and shoot them as they round the corner, and also pick off the attackers that have moved ahead. As the payload gets to be tougher to contest with, try making use of some of this foliage here. You're not necessarily going to be looking for a turret up this high among the trees. Your turret has no trouble shooting through there, but the trees provide a little bit of cover for your turret. And then we're going to look at the last ditch area. Pretty similar spot. We're going to be up here among the trees and the rocks, the grass. Kind of jump across here. And there we go. Providing decent fire that draws attention away from the payload. And hopefully allows you some time to contest. Because you're going to need to. People expect you to be a body on the car. King's Row. You know what? This is a pretty decent Torbjorn area. You know, people may balk at it, but really the combo for defense is Sim, Mercy, Torb. Because you're going to be a little short on healing with one healer, but you have that armor to help sustain, and you want to protect Symmetra and get that teleporter up. I like this spot a lot. This is going to be your crossfire. They're coming through. They want to round this area. They want to get through here quickly. They completely overlook the turret, and they get shot in the back every single time. Now, if your team Symmetra has done her diligence, she's going to have a teleporter ready, and she will be placing it right here, the best teleporter spot in the entire game. You can help defend that by placing a turret over here, getting a ton of kills, because, Well, a lot of guys can't shoot back, and they're going to be focused, engaged with your teammates. Now, suppose your Symmetra didn't do her job. You've lost the first area. What do? Well, again, you want nuisance here and the accessibility. This is not the easiest turret to take out for every character. So you're going to be high up, shooting them in the back. You can also stay up here and just kind of stay above the street, placing turrets that are going to shoot the enemy in the back. Crossfire, you'll get caught up in the crossfire. Crossfire, crossfire. Right? That's what it's all about. Again, we're staying elevated, and we are generating crossfire for our teammates. And you're going to get a lot of limbs. Yeah, no one's looking for that. You're shooting him in the back of the head. What's to complain about? But suppose they're rounding the bases here. They're almost got their home run, right? What do you do? What do you do? Stow away on this side. And yeah, how about right here? You build your turret, you can jump down, grab a health kit. Just a little bit of stuff to draw some attention away from the payload. Here we get looking at Hollywood. You know, decent spots in this one. You know, I can see Tor being picked here pretty often, sometimes even with a Bastion. Now, two of the more popular spots we'll take a look at immediately. You get on a lift. This lift, because it goes all the way to the ground, can make the turret vulnerable, but it is a moving target, has a lot of range. It's going to be difficult to pick off, but then again, of course, when it's on the ground, that's when it's vulnerable. So how do you deal with that? Well, you could also consider just placing the turret up here. Not a moving target, but very hard to shoot, very difficult to get to, and that should work out decent for you. It provides excellent coverage in almost every position of anybody trying to get that objective. Now your team is given up on objective A. Oh no, just set up on B. Okay, what do? The high ground's pretty important here, so you want to look at having the high ground. Try to get your way up to the top early as Torb, and place turrets in areas where people are going to have to crank their neck up way high because they're close to the road, and try to shoot down on them. Now, as the opponents move that payload closer to the checkpoint, you got to try to make some adjustments. Now, this isn't quite as high up, and I'm also considering that they're really about to score this payload. You know, we want to try to get them away from the payload just a little bit, and it's unfortunate we can't really get on top of that jail, but this will shoot them right in the back, right when they're in their most critical spot. Now you're defending the third area. What do? Well, you want some high ground early. Yeah, this won't stand long because it's directly in front of where they're looking, but you're shooting this doorway. Maybe you can pick off somebody that's squishy, that's getting in a little bit late. I also like this idea of shooting them in the back over here. Not the greatest coverage, but it works well enough, and especially at the end when people are frantically trying to contest, you might be able to slow them down. But say that your turrets are going down, you have to contest. What do? For fancy style points, why not just go ahead and park one on top of this? What is it? Is it a honey wagon? Is it a mobile home, some trailer for a movie star? Yeah, you can do this, and you can also get easy shots in on people. You can also go up this direction. Suppose that you are I don't know, not that great a shot, or at least you're not that good at parkour with Torbjorn, you can't really land that move. Turret up here, good spot. It blends in with the surroundings from the banister, and yeah, it's out of the way, yet it gets the shots done. We're looking at Eichenwald now. This is a place where you're going to see a lot of Torbs, especially in the first area, because I feel like teammates are more likely to agree with the Torb pick on a hybrid than a strict escort, because it's easier to defend an area than it is to defend a moving object. I like this car right here. You got to look at the choke, you got to look at the point. It's elevated slightly, so it can't just be charged down. I also like this staircase right here because the greenery covers it up. It's going to be a little out of their way because they're making their way to the objective. They're not necessarily looking to go up the staircase. You're picking a few off, and you're even covering the point, so it works out okay. Now, suppose that you've lost the first area. I like the elevation here. Unfortunately, the tallest tower doesn't really have a good look at very many characters. So what I would suggest is just working this little bridge area, this arch. You can place turrets on either side for whatever your needs are, depending on the location of the payload. So your team has given up the second area, and you're scrambling to put up a good turret. Why not this location over here? It's up high. They may overlook it because of the banister. And yeah, it could actually work out for you. Then I also like this spot. Is it a banister or was it a guardrail? Really? So this area, yeah, it's close to them, but you're shooting them as they're going towards the end point, and it's something that just diverts the attention. It's a nuisance. You can also, if you have time, go up here. Again, a little bit of disguise over here from the guardrail. And then we're going to move on to our 2CP. This is Volskaya Industries. Probably the most hated map in the game. It just, everybody moans, oh, Volskaya. But if you're looking for an OP turret location, this is your spot. This will screw over a Sombra many a times. It's looking at both the choke and the point, defending both. It's high. It's a pain to take out. It just works out really great. So yes, do this. You're going to detect those Sombras. No problem. Now, suppose you need to fall back a little bit. I kind of like the idea of placing a turret near this health kit. Yes, I know health kits no longer repair turrets, but see that spot I'm shooting at over there? That is a decent Symmetra teleporter location, and you can help defend that teleporter with a turret over here, covers the entire point, and it gives you this big health kit you can mooch off of to defend your turret and the teleporter and save that area. But your team is screwed up yet again, and now you find yourself defending the last area. What do you do? I keep saying that, don't I? I like this spot. It's out of the way. It covers the point. People are not necessarily looking for it. It's really crammed way back there. It's an unusual turret location, so it's unlikely people are going to be looking for it, and as teams just move towards that objective, they are going to overlook it, and you're going to do a lot of good in killing people, especially when you build a bolt charge. If you want some elevation closer to the objective, how about right here? It might get knocked out pretty easily. It's still very within range of everybody, like anybody with kind of a mid-strike. Looking at Temple of Anubis. Okay, so this is a tricky jump, and actually I'm kind of surprised that I've landed this like the last 2 times I've done it. I even did this in a stream the other week. Here we go, hug that, jump up here, and we've got excellent coverage of both the choke, well, actually better coverage of the point, but it's just kind of blends in, and anybody getting to the point seems to get shot by it, so it works out. Also make our way up here. Not necessarily this spot. I mean, we are looking to cover the point, but, you know, maybe this right here. Yes, I realize this is within line of sight as they head to it, but it's kind of a pain. You know, they might actually see it and then try to go for it rather than just stay on the point. Now your team has lost the first area. Moving over here, you got to consider that there's a lot of ults that are going to have AoE effect, and you need to have your turret off to the side. You don't need your turret getting hacked when Sombra just straight bombs the middle. You don't need it getting taken out by D.Va ult. You don't need it being anything bad, right? You need these turrets kind of getting you points while you're out in the nitty-gritty over there. I also like this shadow area. I think it used to be darker in here. They lightened up a lot of these spots. But this shadow, people are not looking for this. Both these turrets provide excellent coverage of the second point. Now, let's look at Horizon Lunar Colony. This is one of the newer maps. People are still trying to figure out how to both defend and attack. And I've had an oddly high success rate of both capturing the first point and defending it. I feel like your first turret needs to be away from the point. It shoots at the point. It shoots them as they're headed to the point, but it's shooting a lot of them in the back. Now, yeah, it will go down fairly quick if there's agile characters on the other team. If there's not and they're sticking together, you're going to get a lot of shots in on them. Now, suppose you lose that turret, and you will. I would not recommend staying up there trying to repair it. Just set it and forget it, like Ron Popeil. Now, head back over to the point and kind of fight in the back here. Not necessarily on top of it. You know, put a turret over on these stairs. Symmetra might be hiding out there. Mercy might be hiding out there. You're protecting them with this turret. And being a little under the ground, it kind of gives it some camouflage. Suppose you lose the first point. Now you need to defend the back. What do you do? Okay. Consider placing a turret over here to guard the inevitable shield gen that'll be straight down this way. And you're also guarding the point, but it's not within easy sight of those coming in, so this will stay up longer, and your goal is to guard the shield gen. Likewise, just the opposite side over here. You're going to be guarding the shield gen. It's foolish to switch off Symmetra. It really is. Spawn advantage plus shield gen is everything. Guard that shield gen with this turret. And, you know, also, it defends the point, too. So, you know, why not? Really. Okay, we're looking at our final location, Hanamura, the last spot. Yes, I'm not doing the controls. You know, I just feel like Torb is not viable there. And a lot of people feel the same way. You're just going to spend too much time with turret upkeep. But, yeah, 2 CP, 2 capture point. How about you shoot them in the back from an elevated position? They're bearing down on the choke. There's a lot of exchange of fire, a lot of Reinhardt squaring off. And you're just going for some early charge right here. Now, you don't want to stay over there and keep that turret up. You know, they're focused on the objective. And this spot I just shot at, excellent location for your second turret. Difficult to shoot, potentially guards a teleporter, and you might even find that this stays up, shoots through the windows as people are trying to take the point. It works out great. Now, you fall into the second point. What are you doing here? You just got out of spawn, right over here, at least unless they patch it. Excellent spot for a shield gen. Another good spot for a shield gen. Help guard the shield gen. Put like a turret over here, slightly elevated. You can guard this. You know, work that little angle right there to rebuild and replace the turret. And there you have it. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful.
Like, comment, share, follow, subscribe. Vaughnjog Vlog is made possible by your support on Patreon. Patreon.com/VaughnFry. Because fuck Google.